What's up, NBA fans? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. Shad, Kelvin, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right, that's right. And for everyone who's tuning in, we thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel and help make the show the best that it can be in the year 2025. And I just wanted to mention for future videos, I'm learning how to feature, game footage so I can provide commentary throughout the video and with an enhanced look, just to, modernize the presentation, so I'm learning how to do that. In the very near future, you'll see the difference down the road. But I wanted to bring up something, man. Let's talk about NBA. I know football playoffs are well underway. I'm enjoying the gridiron action. A lot of good games over the weekend, and the running game has returned back. The running game is vital in winning playoff football. But I want to talk about it, and I hate to keep delving on it, but it's almost like I have to, man, because I came across some information by watching another YouTube content provider bring this to people's attention, and I didn't even realize it. And in regards to Los Angeles Lakers, I think people who tune in and listen to me, they I think they've come to realize how much that I held that original young core in a high regard, and how important they was to the future of the franchise as far as establishing the foundation. And as I highlighted throughout the 2017-2018 season, prior to them bringing that guy to the franchise, the Lakers, with rookie point guard Lonzo Ball, generated the number 2 pace offense in basketball. Already number 2 pace team in the league. I believe the Houston Rockets were number 1 that year, with James Harden, MVP James Harden, leading the way when Houston boasted the best record that year, 65-17 throughout the regular season. We had the second best rebounding team in the league by percentage. We boasted a top 5 scoring second unit. Then it peaked at number 3. And then we finished with a point differential of negative 1.5, which is unheard of for a team that's starting over, featuring predominantly not just young draftees, but one and done players as your cornerstones. Compare that to this year's Lakers team. They currently have a negative 2.2 point differential, where the Lakers are the only team as far as the top 10 teams in the West who have a negative point differential to date for this season. But this content provider mentioned that the Lakers, and I'm not trying to be facetious, man, didn't just have 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7. They featured 7 players who averaged double figures. 7. That includes the starting 5, Lonzo Ball at the point guard spot, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who we brought in from the Detroit Pistons. I always like Caldwell-Pope's game. Brandon Ingram at the small forward, who was in his second year. Julius Randle at the power forward position. Once they inserted him into the starting lineup, he broke through as a player in what was really his technically his 4th year, but really his 3rd year, because he missed his entire rookie year after breaking his leg in his NBA debut. He started averaging 20 and 10. And then Brook Lopez, our center, was averaging like 13 a game. And then rookie phenom Kyle Kuzma averaged 16 and a half. And then Jordan Clarkson was at about like 15 and a half, 15.6. So that's 7 players right there who was averaging double figures. And I checked, and there was no other team, at least in the Western Conference, who boasted a roster that had 7 guys averaging double figures. You had teams that they had 6 guys, a starting 5 maybe, and then you had your 6 man. But no, we had two six-man level players averaging 15 and 16 points a game. Two of them. Not to mention Larry Nance Jr. I didn't even realize he was averaging 8.5 points a game coming off the bench. And then rookie Josh Hart was averaging like 7.5. So you take Kuzma and Jordan Clarkson, combine they averages, that's 32 points right there. And then you take Nance Jr. and Josh Hart, that's about another 15 and a half. That's 48 points coming off the bench right there. And that's not to mention Alex Caruso, and along with Ivica Zubac and people like that. So that's why I say we darn near generated 50 points coming off the bench, while Brandon Ingram was developing as a player, and then Lonzo, and then Julius Randle. So imagine if we'd have brought a player in like Paul George, who was coming off an MVP-like season, the best season of his career with the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he finished top 3 in MVP, league MVP consideration, where James Harden took home the honors that year. Imagine adding Paul George to the Lakers, because at the time, in hindsight, people may look back and say, "Oh man, Paul George, he ain't never done that." But I'm talking about at the time, fans were looking for Paul George. They was excited about the possibility of Paul George joining the Lakers, instead of bringing the other guy to the team who had everybody traded away. Okay, so you think about you bringing Paul George to the team, who could get you, I believe, that year Oklahoma City, where he finished top 3 in an MVP consideration. I believe he averaged somewhere between 27, 28 points a game. So imagine adding that to the lineup. He can play the 3 at 6'9". Randall's about 6'8", 6'9"-ish. And then you can slide Brandon Ingram down at the 2 guard spot, which I always thought he was a natural 2 guard anyway. He's 6'8", with a 7-foot wingspan. You have Lonzo Ball, who was already proven to be one of the best defensive guards in the league, and he's returned back to action after it took him about 3 years to recover from that knee injury, and the Bulls have already inserted him back into the starting lineup, and he showed his value. He has intangibles that don't measure up in the box score, but nonetheless, he's 6'6". Can you imagine the possibilities that you would have? Brook Lopez wanted to remain with the team and was willing to do so for the vet minimum. You still had Zubac developing, and then along with Thomas Bryant, a stretch 5 per se. Can you imagine the possibilities? And then you can take Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, add him to the second unit to further bolster the second unit. So by the time 2019 hit, that offseason featured the largest free agent pool in the history of the league. You could have had your pick of the litter. You can either however you want to do it, man. If you want to try to bring in another star player, or I would say just bolster the bench, just continue bolstering the bench. Do you realize how deep this team would have been by the time they finished up? And this before you enter the new decade. You have all your draft picks, and then your Dalton Connects of the world, who we just drafted this year as a rookie, averaging 10 points a game. The Max Christie, who we brought in about 3 years ago, he's playing starters minutes now for the Lakers. He's averaging double figures as a starter. And then Austin Reeves of the world, who's having his best year of his career in his 4th season, 18 points a game. Those are reinforcements, man. Do you realize how potent this team would be? I'm telling you, man, it'd be like a locomotive, man, throughout the decade. And this is why Kyle Kuzma said, entering his 3rd year, I'm surprised we gave up all these young talent, because I believe we had a dynasty. And when you look back at it, I'm telling you, man, I know a lot of people gonna think I'm crazy, man. When I look at it, man, like I said, I studied this team from tip to tail, man, from top to bottom, man. And for all practical purposes, he's right. That's why he said what he said, because essentially that's what the Lakers traded away and gave up and let go, for this guy to come up in here and stack the deck. And I guarantee you this too, in closing, if we had stayed the course and never brought that dude to the team, we definitely finished with a way better record in 2019 than what we did, going 37-45. Instead of going 37-45, we can, if you bring Paul George to the team instead of this guy with the ulterior motive, I'm telling you, we would win close to 50 games that year in 2019. We'd have won more games in 2019. 2020, that would be the launching pad to into the new decade, and you just continue to get better. And then we're going to finish with a better record in 2021. I believe that's when we would start vying for the championship naturally. We'd have definitely finished with a better record in 2022, where the Lakers only won 33 games. We would have finished with a better record in, let me see, let's go back to 2021. They won 42 games in the truncated season. So they was probably on pace to win about that year, about 48 games. We would have won more than 48 games that year, or 49 games. We'd have won way more than what they won in 2022 in 33 games. We'd have won way more than what they wound up winning in 2023 in 43 games. And we would have won more games last year, 47 games, and that's after they got the infusion of young talent. And this year, they're 4 games over 500. We'll be sitting there looking like OKC. And I know it. There's no doubt in my mind. So we were the only team, think about that, only team in the Western Conference featuring predominantly outside of Brook Lopez, who was only 30. He was in his prime. 85% of that roster was homegrown. Drafted talent. And we already boasted a team that featured 7 players averaging double figures, man. That's even more than the Kobe Powell Lakers. That's more than the Kobe Shaq Lakers. And that's right on par and probably even deeper from 1 to 10 than the Showtime Lakers. I'm not kidding when I say that. So I just want to drop that nugget, man. When I came across that information a couple of days ago, man, that blew my mind, but it further solidified my belief as to what we had and how we would be dominate, man. And we could have played any type of way. Speed, power, bully ball. We want to go big, we can do that. Mid-range game, pull-up game. And then by the time we drafted Zvi Mikhailiuk and Mo Wagner, we probably had too much young talent. We had enough three-point shooting to keep defenses honest. Tell you, man. Woo. Back to the basket game with Zubats. Stretch out the floor with a Thomas Bryant. Tell you, man. Wouldn't nobody want to play us, man. But that guy came in and got rid of everybody in record time, and he's sitting here struggling, trying to keep up with the masses. But I just want to drop that nugget until next time. This is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.